the April 18th, 2024 minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Steve and seconded by Dave. Any discussion, amendments, comments on the minutes? Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approving the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that passes. Next topic is item number 3, correspondence. The one on here, looks like it may have come from you, Bill, WPCA inquiry.
Yes.
Finance Director Bill Stieglitz responded.
Another neighboring town had reached out regarding the pay levels at WPCA, so I responded to them.
Okay. Any questions about that?
Well, not about that, but we did have a tax collector,
I have that.
Oh.
Yep, that's good. Thank you, Steve. In addition to that, I have, Steve just mentioned the tax collector reports. Everyone got a copy of that? And we received an email from our first selectman about a track grand opening, the track grand opening, 5/17.
Tomorrow, 1 p.m.
I'd love to join. I'm not gonna be able to, but
I'm
if
trying.
anybody's available,
I'm trying.
please join the track.
Do we get to demo it ourselves?
Any other correspondence?
I do.
Be amazing.
I do.
Any other correspondence? No, okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 4, citizen comments. And we'll start in the room. We have a few people online, but we'll start in the room. Are there any citizen comments in the room? Yes, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Jillian Nolly. I live at 198 Ravenel Road. I am the Marion Fisher Elementary School PTO president, and myself and these amazing moms who have worked tirelessly over 12 months raising money for a new playground that we have not had for over 2 years. We started the transfer station, craft fairs, community days, asking for donations. We ran a successful booster fun run, raising $25,000. We have done 2 penny wars, movie nights, bartender nights, flower sales, the list goes on. We've worked so hard to raise $70,000 of our $150,000 goal. We have been granted $80,000 from the state, but it's a reimbursement. We are asking that you approve our request for an $80,000 loan so we can purchase the playground equipment. We could have a new playground for this town by the end of August, based on my correspondence with the playground company, that if this was approved tonight. As you will see later, Melinda Wilson, the Director of Community Development and Community Investment Funds, will confirm the funds from the state are 100% committed. Free play is essential to children's development. They need a safe place for recess. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other citizen comments from those in the room? Okay, well. Okay. Okay. My antennas are up?
We do have
Wait, hold
one.
on.
We do have one.
I'm kind of excited.
We do.
Sorry, I was, yes, sorry.
Could you state your name and address, please, for the
Happy
record?
to Marcy Sine, 1 Brickyard Road. I spent some time preparing comments, but I think I'm just gonna speak from the heart. So I'm the parent of a 3rd grader and a 1st grader. I am also the vice president of our PTO at Mary R. Fisher. And as Jillian stated, and as many of you are likely aware, the playground at the campus right now that's designated or was formerly designated for 1st grade through 4th grade students has been closed for over 2 years now. It was closed in April of 2022. So my 3rd grade student has been without a playground space for the majority of her elementary education. My 1st grader has been utilizing his recess this year on the blacktop and in soccer field, along with the majority of the other elementary students. So I've been a part of this PTO for over 2 years, and as Jillian stated, our PTO has raised $70,000 over the past year, as
as part of a subcommittee that we established specifically for expanding and enhancing our playground space on campus. Our goal to raise $150,000 would also ensure that our playground space is ADA compliant so that it's inclusive for all students of all abilities. It's really important to us that our kids have a place to play during their recess time and that they're, you know, in a safe place that's inclusive. And we're really proud of the work that we've done over the past year to raise $70,000 of our $150,000 goal. I think that's really impressive, particularly in Thompson, particularly in elementary school body. And we've done many different types of fundraising activities over the couple of years to appeal to all different types of donors. And we really are very grateful to our donors and our parents and their families and our school leadership and our town leadership, and to our state officials who have allocated $80,000 to help us reach and complete our goal. And so we're here tonight as a group, as a PTO, as a family to ask all of you to consider our request for $80,000 so we can finish our goal, get our playground started, and start our next school year with a playground space so that my then fourth grader will be able to complete her elementary experience with a playground. And in fact, I just left my kids at home with my husband and they were like, "Mom, where are you going?" And I said, I'm going to finish this job. They've been hearing me talk about the playground fundraising for far too long. So that's why I'm here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I would like to speak as a citizen, so Amy St. Ange, 139 Riverside Drive. And what this, I forgot your name. What was your name? No,
Marcy Sinai.
Marcy. What Marcy just said kind of like inspired a memory inside of me. Some of my fondest memories of elementary school were spent on the playground. Now, playgrounds then and playgrounds now were entirely different. I can picture a really tall slide and it was like the newest piece of apparatus on the playground. And it was a very tall metal slide that burned on the way down. And there were no guards, so you could just fall off of it. Or the teeter-totters, seesaws, whatever they were. And your friend just decided to get up and you go flying down from the top part, which seems so tall when you're just a small child. But thank you, everybody within the PTO and others who donated, who worked so hard, because that totally is my fondest memories of elementary school, besides some great teachers and things like that. But spending time playing on the playground, really, those are my memories. And thank you for all that you did to get us to where we're at right now. So, and that's all.
thank you. Any other citizen comments in the room? Okay, we'll move to Zoom. Is there anyone on Zoom that has a citizen comment at this time? Okay,
I'm very sorry. If someone's speaking to me, I can't hear you very well.
I was asking, is there anyone on the Zoom that has a citizen comment at this time?
Got you. Thank you. I'll wait.
Do you have one?
I'm Melinda. I'm from DECD. I'm here to affirm the 100% nature of the funding.
For funding.
Okay, that's a little later on our agenda,
Thank you.
sorry. I thought you had a comment. Anyone else on Zoom? Okay, we'll move on. The next update is agenda item number 5, Selectmen's update. First Selectman Amy St. Ange.
Okay.
Floor is yours.
So now wearing my hat as first selectman, I will say that I went to the Mary R. Fisher Elementary School spring concert today, under the direction of Juliana George. It was fantastic. And the most exciting news is that they are bringing, I believe, next year for fourth graders, third and fourth graders, the strings, the violins and the cellos, which is impressive. Yeah, I'm just so excited with all the good things that are going on with the school. You're really rising our school to that next level, and it's just amazing. So I really commend the teachers and the faculty and the administration that's helping to spur this along, because it's just so exciting. And as I mentioned, tomorrow we are breaking ground for the new track project. 25 years in the making?
About that.
25 years in the making. All good things, 1 PM at the track. And we'll officially begin work for that. May 27th, Memorial Day Parade. Come out, support the Memorial Day Parade, honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. I hope to see a lot of not only Board of Finance members, but townspeople in general come out and just honor those sacrifices that were made. That gives us the opportunity to have the freedoms that we enjoy every day. I wanted to circle back to a grant that we were awarded last year. It's kind of, hate to say it, kind of fell off my radar, because there are 2 bridges on Buckley Hill Road that we need to repair. They're both under they're both rated as poor condition. So we do have to repair and replace these bridges. Unfortunately, we only received funding for one of the bridges. It's approximately at least 2 years ago, it was a $3 million project. I fear it could have gone up since then. I'm sure that it has in cost. But WMC Engineering will be applying again for the bridge that goes over the canal. So just be aware as a board that that is going to be funding that we're going to need to come up with 50%. So we received an $870,000 grant that covered the cost of half of one of the bridges. And that estimate was 2 years ago. So I am fearful that every time we go out to bid for something, the bids come in a lot higher than we anticipated. I suspect it could be the same with these bridge projects. But we're hoping to get the second one at least partially funded, and then we will be looking to our residents to assist in approving some type of, I'm assuming, bonding, but we'll get there when we get there. Fingers crossed that we get the second bridge funded, and I will keep you all updated. That's what I have for now.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Any questions for Amy? No questions. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item number 6, school district update, superintendent of schools movements.
Well, it's hard to follow the amazing Mary Fisher PTO, but I'm gonna try. First of all, our enrollment hasn't changed from last month, so that's unusual for us. We did have some movement in and out, but we have 382 students at Mary Fisher, 260 at the middle school, 210 at the high school, for a total of 853 students. 23 of those 23 students are in out-of-district placement. We have 272 students that require special education on 504 services, which is about 22.9% of our population. The budget in special ed, as always, is running over. However, Mr. Steglitz tells us that we're still running in the black in the overall budget, so that is good news. We have a million things going on in the schools right now. One thing that's pretty amazing is that we have installed 5 welding booths in the shop. Bill Birch, Sean Senek, and Dave Slawinski. Anyway, our maintenance crew assembled those 5 booths. They were in a bazillion pieces. They were very heavy. And over the April break, they installed the booths. So now we need the welding machines, which are the most amount of money. And we just found out yesterday that we received a $50,000 Perkins supplemental grant, which will cover 2 welders and 1 plasma cutter. And we also have a grant into Synetia, which is a subcontractor of Electric Boat and Electric Boat for the remaining 3 welders, tools, and curriculum, which you have to use the American Welding Society's curriculum so that the students are trained with the same techniques that they use in Electric Boat. We were invited out to a welding competition. 4 of our students competed. Remember, we're teaching 1 welding class right now. Next year, we launch the whole program. We already have 58 students enrolled, 38 in welding 1, 10 in welding 2, and 10 in welding 3. So a good portion of our population very interested in that program. Those 4 students went on and competed against tech ed schools. Obviously, we didn't win the top 3 prizes, but I will say, and I'm not a welder, but I was there. Our kids did pretty well. So I was pretty impressed with what they did. That was at Ella Grasso Technology School. We were going to try to show you a video clip tonight. However, Congressman Joe Courtney in his last newsletter highlighted Turtle Rock Memorial High School. And as a matter of fact, they took video of Congressman Courtney in the Capitol in DC speaking about Turtle Rock Memorial High School's CNA program and welding program. So, I was pretty impressed with that we've made it all the way to the state capitol with some of our programming that we have in place. Our culinary program continues to develop. We're working on a partnership with Johnson Wales University where our students can go into Johnson Wales with 12 credits under their belt, as long as we align our curriculum with what their expectations are. And our culinary students hosted a luncheon for our seniors this week. Of a menu of big had potatoes, carrots, and grape nut pudding. And the students did a really nice job. We just finished prom last Friday night. It was well attended. Our students had a great time and it was so well behaved. And that's so important. But it's a busy time in Thompson Public Schools. We have many concerts, many award ceremonies, National Honor Society, and just about something's going on up on the hill every single night. But it's exciting times to be in Thompson Public Schools, and I hope that you're able to participate in some of the upcoming events.
Thank you, Melinda. Any questions from Melinda?
Have we had any benefits from the Winnie radio
I
ad,
didn't hear that.
the ads on Winnie that are talking about bringing in the students?
Yes.
Right, we keep hearing them. Have we had any respondents, any questions or anything?
So here's obviously, I had some parents call, but the tuition is a little bit over $14,000. So unless their sending school is going to pay that tuition or a family has money to pay that tuition, not yet. But I anticipate it's coming only because some of the programs like the welding program is unique. Even though Ellis Tech offers welding, it's not going to be the type of program that has full alignment with Electric Boat. So, we have a little niche here that we're trying to grab onto. It's all generated from student interest. It's what our students want. Even the school book class that's, just launched the past couple of weeks, that's all driven by student interest. But I am hoping, and we're gonna keep at it, because if we tuition students in, then it can go back into the program. So I have middle school parents from another community call and ask if they could get into the middle school until I told them the tuition. But that is the cost, right? A gen ed student, and if they had special education needs, there would be a bill on top of that. But hopefully we'll start to tuition kids in.
Okay, thanks.
Super. Any other questions?
You
Yes.
mentioned that special ed is running a little over budget.
Yeah,
I think next year's budget sort of assumed the current level of requirements when we built the budget for the coming year.
yes.
Does that change that outlook
Yes,
to adversely, obviously?
yes.
The good news is we did hear some favorable news from the legislative session that just happened. And even though it's not gonna generate a whole lot of money, it will help. That, how we have to spend around $92,000 before we only get 72,000 of what we spend over that threshold. Now it's gonna be at 100% over the 92,000. So it'll help a little bit. We have about 5 students tuition costs and transportation that'll impact, but every little bit helps.
Sure.
So, we were excited to hear that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to agenda item. 7 is a phantom item, nothing to report on item 7. Item 8, we'll jump to item 8.
Whoops.
Financial report from our finance director, Bill Steckles. Bill, it's yours.
A little bit of a new section up there. I just wanted to talk revenues with a little more specificity this time around, just in case you were concerned about the shortfall in tax collections at 664,000 under budget. That's relatively consistent with where we've been in the past. However, this year I wanted to just remind folks that we had a few good guys, if you will, that are helping to offset that. We received the reimbursement on the gates. The FEMA reimbursement money, obviously you've been hearing about investment income being strong all year long. And then there were the state revenue sharing dollars that weren't in the budget of 153,000 that we received this year. So those 4 items combined to just slightly or more than offset the shortfall in collection. So from a budget revenue perspective, that was actually some good news. Although obviously we can't count on that type of activity every year. Property taxes, 20 million collected, 96.8% of the budget. State and federal grants, the big increase there this time was we received the second half of the education equalization grant, 3.7 million. So that brings us up to snuff in that line. Local revenues, 1.4 million collected. That's over budget, favorable to budget, but that includes the school security gate revenues and the investment income. So that's what's really driving us there. On the expense side, 7.3 million committed, 83.4% of the full year budget, which puts us on a pretty good run rate to be modestly in the black at the end of the year. One other item I wanted to update the board on, the audit RFP was sent out in early May, posted in the Hartford Current. The proposals are due on May 22nd. And what's driving that timing partially is we need to sort of declare who our auditors are for next year. I think that's actually June 1st that deadline is there. So far, we've had interest shown from 2 firms. So I'm hopeful that we'll at least get 2 potential audit firms in the mix for your review.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I just ask a question now that you're saying that? If we have to make a decision by June 1st, does that mean we may need to have a special meeting?
Does that mean the 25th is on no matter what?
Yeah, the 25th is on the.
Yay.
So 6/1, we need to declare by, you'll have it by 5/22.
Yep.
We have a meeting that we hope we get to cancel on
Right.
5/25.
Right.
So why don't we tentatively say we'll bring it up there, and if
Okay.
we don't, then we may need to call a special meeting.
Okay.
Are we still doing it?
If I have any
Well,
wiggle
then we-
room on that date, I'll find
We
out.
could.
I think that's
Saturday,
Friday. It's a
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning at 8 o'clock,
Because don't you come home Friday?
unless we wish to change it, but if,
No, not the meeting, I mean the 6/1. 6/1 is a Friday.
no, that's
Oh.
following.
You have to declare it.
Yeah, our meeting's
Saturday
for 8 AM.
morning.
Yeah,
on
that's
Saturday.
Saturday.
That's a side.
That's what we
Okay.
decided.
Well, Bill, why don't you let us know, and if we have
We'll
to
do.
call a special meeting, we will.
Okay.
If we don't have to call a special meeting, then we won't.
Is our current provider?
Yes,
sending a bid?
one of the 2 firms, yeah.
Any questions for Bill? Any questions for,
General question, do we need to have a meeting, even if it's the current, even if we stick with the current provider, or is that a default automatic or what?
No,
You know,
I think so.
it's a new contract.
Yeah, and if
so
we
in
have-
any
if we
case, we're
have
gonna have to approve
If
whatever
we have
it is.
multiple bid, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe the question is, if they're the only ones that bid, then.
Then it would be,
That's
but if
decision
you
to be made.
have more than one bid,
Right.
it's a decision.
So we have a checkpoint on 5/25. You'll know by 5/22 what you have.
Right, we'll know by
work that out
Monday.
over email. Okay. Anything else for Bill? Any other questions or comments for Bill? Thank you, Bill. Nice job again. Item number 9, Lot Fund Update, Board of Trustees.
Not a lot new there. There has been some movement on the Bank of America account coming into the total fund, if you will. So that was encouraging. Weiss Hales Zahansky's been helping out on that front. Balances are up, and it actually, rumor has it that the trust is actually considering potentially utilizing some of that money depending on the balances. Whereas when we were in earlier budget discussions, it was sort of put there as a placeholder. So it really all matters. It all depends on where the balances are at any given moment, but that's really the only thing new there, I believe.
I'll save it. I have a thought kind of tied to that, but tied to something else that's coming, so I'll wait till something else.
Is that item 7?
That's not, no, it's not item 7.
Is that again?
7, skip. That's the inside joke. So item number, anything else on board of trustees for Charlotte Fund? I think we're good. Thank you, Bill. It was a good update. Item number 10 is new business. Item 10A is discussion of surplus analysis and improvement. That one I'll take. I asked to add that because I wanted to have a discussion following the audit. I'm not necessarily looking for any action on it, although if someone has an idea on action, we can always take action. But pretty concerning that, you know, the target, which probably wrongfully, I thought we were in like a 7 to 8 to 9% range. It's really twice that. It's about 16%. It's 2 months worth of expenses, not the funding that we raised through taxation, the 20 million or so. It's percent based on the 30 million, or in last year's case, the 29 and change. So that number, you know, our budgets have been going up in the past few years. We're in inflationary mode. So even if the surplus stayed flat, the following year, the percentage drops, right? Just the basic math. So I asked Bill a couple, so we're right around 5.2. I think the guidance from the auditors was anything below 5 was subject to the state coming in and either running us or telling us how to run, or some combination thereof, which that's not exciting to see happen. So I'd like to talk about things that we can do and maybe actions we can take as a board to help. Not just as a board, I think the owners of the cost centers in the town, the school and selectmen and all the departments to try to help that. I asked Bill a couple of questions. The first one was, what's the current surplus account value and the overall percentage? We're right now sitting at 5.2%. And we expect to finish the year at about 5.4. So just in terms of, it's not exact numbers, but just in terms of rough numbers, if you got a $30 million cost basis, 1% equals 300,000. So if we move from 5.2 to 5.4, it's like $60,000. That's been added to it. I then asked him for, I'm going to pass this out. Bill, thank you for pulling some of this data together. I then asked for what the current transfer account looks like. And what those funds are earmarked for and how much they are.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Bill, there's bigger fonts in life. There's bigger numbers. I swear to God, I can't read this thing. You know, there's a key there I know that can increase these. No, I got them in, Dave. That's the worst part. I got them in. The contacts were closed. Bill, I swear to God.
In all fairness,
I don't care if you use extra pages.
I printed them out, and I actually thought about that when I printed it, and I said,
Mother of Jesus.
Not gonna waste paper, right?
Yeah, the third.
He's got still half the paper empty, you know, come on.
To put it on landscape.
The third item I wanted to just get everyone to get a look at is, like, historically, what have we pulled from surplus, you know, relative to the budget? And this year we did not pull any, but if you look at the chart here, in the prior years, we have, the last 3 years, it was 109, 109,000, 15,000 and 284,000. So quite significant. And that obviously helps offset the mill rate increase in those years. We didn't do that this year. And then last on item 4 is just the confirmation. It's about 310,000 per 1%. So again, I don't necessarily know that we have to take action today, but I'd like us to be thinking about, at least in the short term, if we end this year at 5.4, how can we get at least to 6.5? You know, we're not gonna go from 5 to 16 overnight, I mean, it's just not practical and not reasonable, but can we get to 6.5? Can we put another, call it 340,000 back into surplus? And that can come in a different shapes and sizes, right? There's lots of different ways of doing that, including adding it in the budget cycle next year. If we don't manage ourselves to a period throughout the year, I'm talking next fiscal year. If we don't manage ourselves through that period and have the surplus, we may need to force some surplus back in. So I'll pause if there's any questions or comments from the group.
I think a question for Bill related to this and also on your report showing the income coming in, offsetting the deficit. Now, how much did we set aside for uncollected taxes in the current budget?
It was 205,000, I believe, in the
So-
2024 budget.
So in actuality, that's money that's deducted from the revenue side at the end of the year. Mainly because,
It's actually added back into the revenue budget to make up for the expected revenues that we wouldn't collect.
okay,
Like bad debt.
Yes,
Starts like.
it doesn't
You're
affect,
collecting some of the old
what
stuff,
my
but you-
question is, does it
you got some
affect
you didn't collect.
the 664?
no,
It doesn't affect it at all.
no, it's added back in to get to the total budget number that then is used to generate the 664.
It's added into revenue then.
Right, correct, yes.
Okay,
It's essentially layering the tax that some taxpayers don't pay back onto the taxpayers that do pay. I guess is a fair way to say it.
I think one thing we have to be careful in the next fiscal budget is the fact that our grand list is going to increase significantly with the reval.
Mhm.
As a result, the amount of money raised per mill is going to increase significantly. So when a mill this year raises 773,000, next year it might be
900.
it might be $1 billion. So, you know, it's gonna be over 1 million next year, right? No, several million. And I think we have to be careful when we take a look at our next budget and take that into consideration, that a mill could in fact raise, say, $200,000 to $300,000 more than it currently is.
You know, what we've done in the last cycle that we had the reval, we normalized the mill rate.
I would be looking at that as well, but I'm just mentioning it,
No,
that not only do we have the increase, we have the increase in what we receive per mill.
if we leave the mill where it is.
Yeah, but we're gonna normalize it, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that, Steve, but it's gonna be something we need to do, because I think shortly people are gonna be seeing that. Do you know when the new revals are gonna be issued?
Well, the grand list will be for October, but within the coming months. I haven't heard that it's going to be incredibly, from Paul, there's a chance it's not gonna be incredibly significant, unlike sometimes in the past.
Yeah.
But-
I mean, this year, we not only didn't take anything out of surplus, but the actual lift in the grand list was lower than prior years.
Mhm.
Equivalent, it was
Right.
like 3.5
Percent-wise,
million, and
yeah.
it equated to about 92,000, which is,
Well, the
Relatively-
year prior it was significant, it was like 34 million
that's
something.
correct.
And I
So-
will say word on the street is certain districts will obviously be impacted, see
Higher,
a higher valuation than other districts.
Depends on your zip code.
What's that?
Depends on your zip code.
Yes, well, it just depends on the
So-
location in town that you have chosen to live.
I'll try to be nice about it.
People,
So.
like Lowell Davis.
Yeah, they've been so undervalued in the past.
Yeah, I opened that door up. So I guess we could keep this alive, maybe talk, I'd like to get through the budget season that we're in and get the budget approved. But I think, one thought would be as we go through this next budget cycle, you know, if we can manage some of the departments where we may be under, you know, rather than utilizing those funds within that department for something else. For example, if we have another light year in salt, you know, could we pull some of that into surplus? We know we have one person in Public Works that is on leave, but, you know, I know this because we talked in the budget season, do we pull that salary out? We didn't really want to because when he comes back, it's his job, but while he's not there, that money's in the budget. So we can either use that because we don't need to pay an individual, we can put that in surplus and we can spend it somewhere else. So
But
I'm suggesting that we kind of maybe put some targets, take 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever meetings, and think about targets that we could give, not prescriptive, but ask the town and certain departments to maybe collectively hit a $340,000 target. And if we did that, that would help this situation.
I understand what you're saying, but annually, those funds are used to balance out the over expenditures versus the under expenditures. Do you know where we sit in that area?
Yes, it's actually on the expense sheet. It's a little tougher here to tell because we don't encumber, but if you look at our burn rate, if you will, we would be probably about $70,000 to $80,000 in the black. Now, that does not include open POs that are, I can say historically, would generally close and would increase that amount. But as of right now, the POs that are open, we don't start the process of shutting down year-end POs until the end of May. We do the same thing on the Board of Ed side. Because then people have a pretty good idea that, yeah, oh yeah, I'm not gonna need all of that, or something came in low, or unfortunately, something's gonna come in higher.
So we'd be in a better position next month or
Right.
actually when the budget closes.
And that's where he's getting the 5.4.
Yeah, that's target, that's right.
So even at 5.4, we're slightly over the bubble. I hear you, Dave, that does, those places where we underspend, couple places where we overspend. I guess my overall thought process though is everything needed? You know,
Yeah,
Let's be careful.
Can we be more careful and say, there's wants and needs, and can we defer? Can we wait another year? Just as a team, as a town, just, I'm not comfortable living at 5.2.
Well, you know my feelings. I haven't been comfortable in 3 years with the numbers, and they haven't gone up. They've gone-
But I don't think we've taken, or I haven't seen, I shouldn't say I don't think we have. I haven't seen, other than the budget season, the Board of Finance is not as well attended, nor is there like, the agendas go from being 13 to like 3, right? And the ones that so I think there's room to have those conversations just outside of budget season. And we talked, I think, a little bit beforehand about how do we do, like, we were trying out having the budget season done the way that we did with us attending, everybody talking to the town. Is there a way to do and replicate that over the summertime or in the fall? But the focus be that either needs and wants, or, what is in it versus what should be in it, or is the reason we're constantly, I hate to say this, but is the reason that we're constantly using that surplus to cover something is because we constantly cut that particular line item, right? And if historically we've cut that line item and then we've waited and covered it, then we need to do a better job at where we're cutting and where we're not, right? So I think there's more data that needs to be had that we can look through, and I think Bill's done a good job of having the Excel available to be able to manipulate as well. So I just think that we need to schedule it and make it happen versus talk about possibly doing it.
I'll put it back on the agenda again. I'll spend as much time as we need to on it and put actions in place. We have department heads in the town that are good managers that should be responsible for their budgets. And, we pulled from it every budget cycle for the last, 6-7 years. We didn't do it this year, and the trend is it's going down and down and down. So if we don't do anything, it's just a matter of time, right? The direction is not going to change if we don't change what we're doing. The direction is not going to change. We're going to get to that 4.8, 4.9, 4.5, and eventually we're going to be in trouble.
It's one more oil tank. In reality, right? It's one oil tank that we find that puts us right under the 5.
Yeah.
I might ask a question on the use of surplus.
Yeah.
Is that things that we specifically identified that we were going to spend over and above the budget, or is that the net change for the budget?
That was
Those are
taken
the-
from surplus to decrease the mill rate.
Let me get the question down.
That's how I understood.
So
But Bill can confirm.
this is the change, or this is, hey, we voted to take $675,000 out of surplus to do something.
This
If
was
you-
that budget cycle. Can you?
Right, if
clarify
you
that?
look at, if you use your magnifying glass and.
I was gonna say that.
Hold on, wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Thanks, Bill.
But all, with the exception of 2023, those amounts were in the budget to reduce the mill rate. In 2023,
At the time of the budget.
So
cycle,
they were
when
actually
we
identified as,
approved
we're
the
taking
budget-
this, sorry,
right,
No.
we're taking this out of our surplus to
Right.
reduce the mill rate.
Mhm.
for example, the 2022, we must have been on a razor's edge because $15,000, we pulled it out of surplus. We must have been trying to hit a number.
So it wasn't, we're in the year and now we need to take something
Right.
out of surplus. Not that, okay.
2023, however, and you guys, that's why I listed them out here. And it's why the font's so small. You had school security in there, school roof, a couple additional appropriations. We bought the containers, the compactor containers at the, transfer station. Now, remember, we had auctioned some stuff off to cover that. But the proceeds of that auction flow into surplus, and then you guys had to vote to remove it and use it on the compactors. So that was net, but nonetheless, it hits that number. And then we had the Thompson Hill rent, and we had bumped up the track by $7,000. So when you add all that up, it's 110 that we took out of surplus in 2023, not as part of the budget, but during the fiscal year.
So in other words, it's, hey, we don't have enough money for middle school
Right,
athletics, so we're actually going to, it does include, that's what this is.
right. Yep,
Okay.
that's what 2023 is. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the right year, but. yeah.
Right.
Let's have a grand.
That's, yeah, that's next. That's why it's in that order. So,
Understood.
so we can pick this up again, maybe after the budget's approved and we have a quieter agenda.
You better pass the budget.
And,
Yeah.
but looking at your column, you understand,
Pass it.
the trend is clear from 9.1, 10.2 back in 13-14 to 2.5, 5.2.
5.2, that's
Yeah.
good. So
Gotcha.
more to come, and we could pull out of a transfer account. We voted to earmark those monies. We could pull those over if we wanted to. I know that wouldn't be a popular thing, but that's less unpopular than getting below 5%. Any other comments or questions? We can come back to this later in the meeting.
Thanks for putting it
Yeah,
on
yeah,
there.
it's great.
Thank you. Item 10B, discuss Board of Selectmen request for an advance of $80,000 for playground construction to be reimbursed by a grant from the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development. I'm not sure who has that one.
Well, I have a question
Sure.
based on our current
That's what I did.
discussion. Maybe Melinda can help us here. If in fact we approve the 80,000 tonight, it comes out of undesignated surplus,
Sure.
what we're talking about.
That's exactly right.
And we have that, there is a grant and we are to be reimbursed. My question is, is this in writing? It's not only a promise, but an obligation
Yeah.
on the Department of Economic and Community Development. And when in fact will we be reimbursed?
That was my question. When's the money coming back?
Yeah.
So is it,
Sorry,
is
but
it,
I
the
was
question
second
is,
in
is it like more like
She's here.
contractually in writing,
Yes.
guaranteed, if you will? Nothing's truly guaranteed, but
Right.
it's committed. And when would those funds come? And then I'm gonna ask a third, then I'm gonna ask a third question of Bill, or for people to think about as well, is could that funding on a temporary basis come from the Turtle Lot Trust? Is related to the school,
I just wrote that.
and maybe that would be an interesting way to not.
Well,
in our
the
circle.
problem I would have there is funding to a facility other than Turlock Memorial High School. The Turlock Fund, if I recall correctly from the years I spent on that particular board.
Yep.
Is specifically
Yep.
designated for the Turlock
That's correct.
Memorial High School building.
And they wouldn't be funding anything, they would be lending, they'd be.
No,
lending.
I,
But let's go to the first two questions first. Melinda, you have the floor if you're the right person to answer those.
I am, thank you. I think for whoever's taking minutes, I'm Melinda Wilson, the Director of Community Development and the Community Investment Fund 2030 with the Department of Economic and Community Development with the state. I do want to let you know that it is not just DECD who is authorizing these funds. You already have State Bond Commission approval for the funds. So that is even more than anything I can give you, as you already have as passed in December. It was through the State Bond Commission. You have item 40I is these funds are requested to provide grant and aid to the town of Thompson to create an ADA compliant playground at Mary R. Fisher Elementary School. Funds are requested as follows, $80,000, and that was approved by the State Bond Commission. So that's your, yes, you are going to get this money. And my response is that it is a procedural aspect from here on out, as far as creating a financial assistance proposal from DECD as administrator to the town to be signed by first selectman. Thank you. And then it goes through a closing process with whoever the town uses as counsel. And once this is closed, we can, again, there's another couple weeks of back and forth and paperwork, things that I have to do on my end to actually be able to process this for you. Total time, a lot of that time depends on how long it is on your end, what your processes are to have the financial assistance proposal signed, and then to actually proceed with your counsel for closing. I can certainly expedite that on my end. We could have this done in a couple months. I know that doesn't help, you know, with your decision of how to fund this, but I don't see this being, you know, very many months long process. It is a back and forth legal process, but it isn't anything that, you know, we can't overcome in a manner of, you know, 2 or 3 months from now.
Yes, David.
Another question, Melinda. Thank you for your response. But is this grant similar to other grants that the town may receive or the school, where the actual project must be completed and the bills paid prior to the receipt of funds?
So generally, that's the way it works. I want to commend Tira and Jess and the rest of the PTO. They've already supplied me with all of the documentation as to, you know, what the estimates are and how this is going to be. We can process up to 90% of this as a advance to the town as soon as we get the paperwork done. And then we just withhold 10% until everything's done, and then we can release that 10%. We have to use that documentation.
Thank you, Melinda.
Any other questions, clarifications, comments, concerns?
It's gotta come out of fund balance.
Yes,
For anyone.
undesignated.
Could be Melinda, it could be Bill,
What,
could be the group.
can I ask the PTO?
You can ask anyone in the room. You got
What is
it.
the time? So I know you had stated in your opening statements that if we were to fund you tonight, you'd have it done by the start of the school year, by August. What is that time frame? And if you weren't to get all of it and you only got that advancement of the 90%, can you still fund it?
Yes, yes.
And what's the time frame? So if that didn't come through until August, what would that look like? And what would be the impact on this area where the buses come in? Like, just from general speaking, what would that look like?
No impact to the area where the buses are coming in.
Okay. Or parent pickup. I guess,
According
to
to
me.
the playground construction company, if we place the order tomorrow, it is a 12 to 14 week lead time for them to obtain the equipment. And we would be on the schedule for the end of August for installation, which means the project would be completed no later than the end of September. At the absolute latest, they could actually go quicker if somebody canceled off their schedule.
Can I comment on that?
Yes, please.
So, the 10% can come very quickly after that, you know, in a matter of a couple weeks. We just need to have someone come out, take pictures and issue the last of the funding.
So the 90% is a couple of months and then the 10% is a couple of weeks. And that's not.
Yeah, once we, because there's no contracting process. on it.
And it's 90% upon completion.
Mhm.
The other 10% is upon proof of no liens and everything's paid.
Hmm.
Yeah, there won't be any liens. We won't place any liens.
So not you, I mean, anybody they use.
You know, like contractors.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting you, by the way, I meant the workers.
No, well, DECD usually does, so I'm waiving that lien, so there won't be any liens.
Is it, I know from other projects, not school projects, but other projects, sometimes you can commit to the materials. You have enough funding to commit to the materials, they'll put the materials on order, you'll pay for the materials. If you don't complete the whole job, you lose that money so that the contractor and supplier is protected. But it allows you to collapse at least maintain the timeline, because the
So,
long lead items are already secured.
okay, I got you. So we are able to pay, I believe it was 65% upfront that to guarantee materials are placed on the line. The balance then has to be paid within 45 days of installation.
Within 45 days of installation.
Mhm.
With
So
completion of installation?
Yeah.
Completion of installation,
the terms are 65% upon starting the project
yes,
and 35% upon completion.
correct.
So do you need the full $80,000? You need 65% of the project. Now, to get started.
Right now to get started.
Because
We
the
could
balance of the
we could
80,000, you don't
first
need.
part.
Just off the 100,000, right?
Right, so we would, so then what we could do is we could amend our request for the 65% to get us started.
Well, 65% minus the 70,000. Or the.
A total of
No.
100, of which
So-
they already have 70.
Right,
No,
so-
I'm clarifying, I'm
Roughly.
clarifying.
So-
Because 30,000's a big difference than
I mean, what difference does it make?
80,000.
Right.
So
Take it off.
because this is state funded
If you're gonna
and
take it out,
we are
take it
sitting
out.
on funds
You're
that have
nickel
been
and diming,
raised by
sooner or later,
parents,
gotta take it out.
we are requesting to use state funding first. And then that way, any balance we have left over from what we have funded through parents continues to stay with PTO for further upgrades, because there is going to, at some point in time, the asphalt needs to be replaced on that playground. When we did our original quoting, we were looking for a foam base, which is way outside of our budget, because that is champagne taste, and we don't have that budget.
So.
We don't either.
That's right.
Our
So the
total,
150
They're banking.
isn't all needed for the project. You know, some of that funds, those funds are gonna stay for maintenance. What's the project?
project cost,
I think the last bill we got was 130, it was a little over 130 for the playground. We still
They would
paid
give
for
them
wood
60.
chips.
and then
And-
wood chips on top of that.
Yeah.
They come back with a final
Right.
request.
Yeah, so the total bill was 130, let's just say 135, because it's always gonna change. So 135 and you have 70 collected.
Yep.
Correct? Yep. So I agree with Dave. We'll give you the 65 or whatever. Let's get it started, let's get in line, let's get it going, and then come back with the request.
Financial statement
Yeah,
showing-
what do you need after that? But at least you'll get in line, you'll get it going, you can utilize the grant money, and then we can analyze what we have. I mean, I've been very quiet about all this surplus stuff, but I am scared to death that if we go under 5%, and now you're looking on the bottom line of that, 229,000 for a tank. You know, I'm 100% behind it, 100%. But I think we gotta do it, like Dave had a great point. We'll give the 65 for now and then come back later on when you have some more statements and so forth.
So Brian, I was going in the same path, but giving them what they need now, not the 65. And well, they'll eventually need the 65. But I'd rather do that at the end of the fiscal year when we're sitting on 5.4 and 5.2.
Mhm.
That was my only reason to do it, to chunk it out like that, not to
So-
nitpick, but.
Can I,
to-
can I,
What are you
can I
considering?
add something that might help?
Go ahead.
Yes,
Ellen.
please.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. So I want to speak to the PTO's point. The grant doesn't have to be used either before or at the end. As long as you have spent more than the $80,000 on the playground, you will be reimbursed, or as we talked about in advance, for the full 80,000. So you would still be able to take the PTO's funds and use them for whatever the PTO wants. It wouldn't be a matter of there being grant funds left over that you couldn't access.
I
You'll
just
get the
wanna
full
make
80,000.
sure that if we put in our full 70, and then we come back and we don't spend like the full 150, let's say it comes in 145. That there's not $5,000 that should have been reimbursed back to PTO, I just don't want it to muddy, because we know we have people that are gonna make.
That's not our, well, you have 150, if you need 130, you have 20 left over, you need 105, you got 45 left over, that's all of your project. God love you guys for raising $70,000. I think what we're trying to do is understand, how do we help?
Right.
Because I think all of us want it, Brian's passionate about it, I'm passionate about it. But we're also battling this sort of conversation about the surplus, and if we're at 5.2 today, it's not a big lift, but there's another 60-70,000 when we go to 5.4. I don't want to do anything to touch the 5.2 today, as much as I love the school and I love everything you guys did. So if the need today to get the project going is 65% of 135,000. That's a different number, and maybe we start there and then address this again in phase 2 after June 30th.
So it'd be
Does anybody have a
about 20
calculator?
grand roughly.
What?
Sounds like they need one.
135 times 0.65 is 87.7. And they have 70. So they need
Say 20.
$17,000.
I call it 20.
Call it
Yeah.
20,000. Is that what you said, 20?
Yeah.
All right,
Is
so,
that a motion?
What's the number?
so
$20,000.
20, so we'll give them 20, that gets them to their number, all right, and then. All right, I'll make a motion to. Your organization is what?
Mary R. Fisher Elementary School PTO, however, we would request that it go to a transfer account, because the funds need to be paid from the municipality to the playground company in order to keep the 45-day net on the final invoicing, because if it comes from us as a private entity, we have to pay the day it's done.
You got
So what
that? Does the
so
secretary
let's-
have that? Because I'll just say, that's my motion.
No,
20,000.
let's hold off, let's hold off. No, hang on.
Yeah.
What she's saying is the initial down payment, which is it 65?
65%.
78, something.
78 and change.
Call it 78,000.
That has
87.
to come through the town.
Yep.
To your playground company.
Okay, yes.
So we
But
need
there aren't
to,
terms, sorry, Dave, there aren't terms on down payments. I think the 45 days is at the end of the project.
no, she's talking,
According to the playground company, they told us if it goes through the municipality, they'll give us a 45-day lead time after.
for the final
For
payment.
the final payment. If it comes from us as PTO as a private entity, they will not give us a 45-day lead time.
Gotcha.
They want cash on hand.
Well, they want that municipality on the hook. Right?
Right.
Not have
Yeah.
PTO.
So
Be
really,
a
we're
transfer
talking
account.
80,000 from what you're telling us. 78.
Bill, is there a workaround where that 70,000 can go to your account and you can pay for it? Kind of like we did up on the hill with the source?
Yeah, I think that's the only way we can do it to capture that timing.
Okay. Is that the 70,000 is transferred to the town?
Right.
And we would vote that, I don't want to take Brian's motion, but his motion.
No, I'll pull my motion off. And
Okay.
It hasn't-
As her numbers kept going, it was like, oh, shit, excuse me.
I think what we need to do is, I think what we need to do is have a motion to approve $20,000 to move the transfer
Right.
earmarked for this project, with, you know,
Contingent upon receipt of the $70,000 from the PTO.
and earmarked as a loan in a sense.
So then how,
So the
work in the
70,000 is
end.
gonna come to the undesignated fund of the town from the PTO.
Right.
Correct.
And then the town is gonna write a check for 78,000 to the playground company.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Right.
Right.
so when the check from the DECD comes in, it comes to the town?
Yes.
And then we will reimburse the PTO for
PTO.
the full amount of whatever remains.
Yeah,
in
but
the
The final the final construction
Okay.
statement.
Okay, yep. Tara, you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify here that it is coming to the town, not the PTO, the grant money. I think that was actually not fully clear and I was sort of half zoned out, but yeah, I'm the local project manager. So I will be the one actually submitting the requisitions for the checks from the town. It is awarded to the town. The PTO is essentially a sub-grantee. Not technically a sub-grantee, but it operates the same way.
Okay, thank you, Tara. So, Bill, if we were to move the $20,000. The PTO would have to also provide the balance of the down payment, whatever that is. It may not be
They would
exactly-
have to write the check to the town.
Yeah.
Go it in undesignated funds, and then we have to
Right,
approve
agreed.
the initial down payment.
Correct,
So, and we have to put that all in a motion.
correct. That would be a perfect motion if you'd like to make that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll second that, Dave.
It's a little complicated. I think I followed.
You can make it call.
Well, let me try.
Okay.
I would make a motion that the funds in to cover the initial down payment for the Marriott Fisher Elementary School playground be covered by a payment by the elementary MR, that's Fisher. Oh, boy, I'm ready to give up. PTO transferred to the undesignated fund, surplus fund of the town of Thompson, along with an approval of $20,000 to be taken from the town of Thompson undesignated fund surplus to cover the initial payment for the playground at the elementary school, amounting to 65% of the total construction cost. Not sure how I did,
I
but
think you got
I
it.
think you did good, but I would say, can you put the $20,000 mark on us? Be specific, there's 70,000 they have to transfer in.
yeah,
I like,
that's what I said, the 70,000.
oh, I didn't hear
transfer-
70,000.
They have to do the 70 though.
They do, they do.
Yeah,
So
they-
Oh, yeah.
is it
So,
90?
I would just add after $20,000, comma, as a loan. Just so it's clear that we're not approving to spend, we're approving it as a loan. 'Cause it will come
Yeah,
back.
like, the whole thing was, they gotta commit to put it in.
It's not really a loan, but
It's not a loan.
And
Well,
then
they're providing the
there'll be
funds.
extras in it. and
they're,
then
they're,
then we
they're
take full
providing the
afterwards.
funds
Money that's
to
left over.
The loan is from them.
it's,
No, they're about the $20,000.
Oh, the 20.
20, we're not spending, we're lending. It's not impacting the town other than cash flow.
Oh, I agree.
They can't get the playground without us.
Okay.
I don't like the word loan, but I'm not sure how to better
That's what they're not
explain
doing
it,
it.
Rob.
They're not doing that.
In order to cover the initial
Any of the stuff.
65%
Prior to reimbursement.
prior to
Prior
reimbursement.
to grant reimbursement.
Yeah.
Okay. So rather than restating it all, I think Dottie has it from when you said it. When you said
And then you can
20,000.
check
Yeah,
with Dottie to make sure it's,
I will do that. At the point where you said for the $20,000, the approval of $20,000.
from our undesignated fund surplus.
As an advance, is that what we agreed on?
That's a good term,
As
better
an-
than.
as an advance.
As an advance towards the 65% down payment requirement for the playground construction, or whatever.
Any questions from the group on that? Very
Yeah, I
good.
think Nick has
I have a question. Oh, just.
Well,
a
sorry,
clarity.
real quick, is anyone second that?
Oh,
second.
he seconded.
Okay.
Brian seconded.
I have an open-
I don't know what it was I second, it was so damn long, but I'm
No.
going with it.
So I guess my numbers, newbie, right? I'm pulling the newbie card. My numbers are completely off from what you guys have stated and what I thought I heard Jessica state. The extra money that the PTO had raised over the 135 was to cover activities that were not covered, were part of the playground, but not part of the installation of equipment, such as mulch or whatever they're doing around it. So
Right.
if you force, or we force them to put all 70 in, the rest of the items to make the playground usable won't be able to be purchased until after, which makes the project unusable. That's what I understood.
No,
Hang on.
Let her finish.
What, are you done with your comment?
Well, it's not a comment, it's kind of a question,
Okay.
like I'm asking,
Okay,
because I think I heard that if all the money is removed, the project actually can't be completed
understood.
because they don't have the money to buy the other items, and I just wanna make sure
I
that
think
that's.
Melinda said that once we have completion of the construction, the funds can come very quickly,
But
holding back 10%, but
Right.
90% of that 80,000 grant is gonna come almost immediately upon completion.
But my understanding of the completion was they were coming out to take pictures that it meets the requirements
No.
of an 80 whatever playground, which it won't meet if they don't have the mulch and the other items. So this is a chicken and egg question, I guess.
Yeah.
But-
So,
Can I?
Melinda?
real quick, go ahead, Melinda.
So you're gonna have the grant money, you're gonna have $72,000, excuse me, of that grant money to cover all of that stuff, because I'm gonna be able to reimburse it to you. So you're gonna have that money available to you. We're only talking about
Melinda, when
10%
we
that
get
will
that?
be withheld, that won't come until the end after it's done. Just the last $8,000.
But the 72 comes when?
That's what will come as soon as we can get all this paperwork done. This is
Oh.
the 2 or 3 months down the road money. So while this is all still
So
being
it
built,
could be
you're
June
gonna
or
have the
July.
money. Yeah,
Okay.
So all we're doing is bridging from what they've raised to at least start the project so they don't lose the
Exactly.
summer. And to your point, the 130 was the cost, they need 65% of that. We've added $5,000, I hope that covers bark mulch. And then the other items that Jessica said, just confirm, Jessica, were items post the project that you wanted to have maintenance funds. So if you got the 65% of $135,000, can you go? Are you good?
Yes.
Okay.
We can start the
Hold on, let
project.
me pull
They can-
my budget sheet, hold on.
Yeah.
So yes, with a
Well, they're
pause.
gonna have the 72 as well.
That's right, yeah.
If it comes in time.
I just, the question was, do they have
That's
enough?
coming right
to get the
away. As
project
soon as they
started?
submit the paperwork, it's gonna send us out.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
8,000, that's
Solve
10% of all that.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
could I just ask a question of Melinda? Melinda, this is
Please.
Amy St. Ange, I'm the first selectman. I thought you had said at one point during this meeting that as soon as the 80,000 was expended. Not necessarily the completion of the project, oh, okay, I thought that
no, because
once all the paperwork was in place and the ball would get rolling as soon as the 80,000 was expended and proof of that was shown.
No, because
Okay.
what you're gonna be able to do is you're technically spending $87,000 on this now.
Right.
So that allows me to release the 72,000 as soon as we get this paperwork done.
Oh, okay.
So you're gonna have all that money while this construction is still going on.
this is
Okay.
truly in
Have that
advance-
state money.
it's truly in advance of $20,000
Right.
to not lose the timeline. So I
And
think
that's-
I'll make sure that
Perfect.
Dottie has it. It was very confusing. I
Okay.
think we all understand, we're approving to allow them to move the video to move $70,000 in. We're approving an advance of $20,000 to carry out the project.
With the understanding, Rob,
Yep.
that the money that we are getting from economic and community development comes to the town, so we are going to have to get basically a statement from the PTO sometime maybe in August or September, showing us, we have to make another motion to transfer.
That's-
Money back.
We
The money
become-
back.
Money
we-
back.
we- We
Okay.
become a flow-through body
Yeah.
in a sense, and we need to
Right.
have the appropriate governance to do that.
Mhm.
Okay,
The money won't go to them, it'll come to
that's
us.
correct.
that we
And then we will
transfer.
vote to move
Looking
that.
at it back to back.
So, any other discussion on this motion?
Thank God, no.
Okay, we're gonna go around.
Yes.
Let me start with Brian. Brian, how do you vote? I vote
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful cause.
Nikki, how do you vote?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
And Rob, I'll vote yes, that passes fine. You guys are welcome.
Never gonna get that 20 minutes back in my life.
You don't need it, it's fine.
Item, did someone have a question?
No.
Item, new business 10C is in Charlie. Discuss board of selectmen request of $229,000 for funding of the underground storage tank removal at the library community center.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
should I just start opening up with why I'm bringing this to you?
please do.
So the meeting consisted of Suzanne and I last Friday. We really didn't know how to word this because we know that there is some money in some of the transfer accounts that potentially could apply to this. But the fact is, we're holding our breath, hoping the budget passes. Back in budget season last year, so the fiscal year 24 budget, it was brought to my attention that an underground oil tank existed. And it became my mission to make sure that thing came out of the ground before we had another oil spill leak that could cost us 5, 6, 7 times or more the amount that we're asking for. But because we're looking at a tight schedule with doing this during the summer prior to winter, we need to start moving and just make a decision that come hell or high water, we're going to get this done this year. And we're gonna pull this 30-year-old tank out of the ground. So I'm looking for guidance because we don't know if the budget's gonna pass. And even if the budget passes, we're still, because we under planned, we're still gonna come up short from what we appropriated.
229 minus 160.
Right.
Is this for total removal of it?
229 removal, pulling out of the ground and then having one installed above ground. But know that because of the location of the doors at the library, there's a whole above ground overhead system that's going to be installed. That's very complicated. It can't be close to the building. It's,
Why couldn't it be drained and filled and not take it out?
we had to take it out.
You
It's
have,
30 years
by
old.
law, you have to take it out.
It's expired.
It's expired.
Well,
They-
number of
We did it
questions.
at work.
Hang on, go
We
ahead,
had a
Dave.
company come in and do it.
Number of questions. We have not received a directive from Northeast Department of Health to remove the tank or from the state.
No.
Okay, that's number one. Number two, the nature of the tank that is installed. Is it a steel tank? Is it fiberglass? Is it double walled?
That would be a question for the building committee.
Well,
No, it's probably just a steel tank they pop in the ground.
we don't know, we don't know that.
Double wall tanks.
Pardon?
I don't know definitively, but double wall tanks have safeties in them and.
Yes.
You know, those, but those are more
Right.
modern than 30 years.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
We had a double walled in the middle school, which we replaced over 30 years ago.
Maybe they have.
I was there when they replaced it, so. And,
After two leaks or issues with oil in the ground and gas in the ground, I just don't know that it's a gamble. If the
I'm not-
board decides or the public decides it's a gamble, by all means.
I'm not willing to gamble,
Right.
okay, but I'd like to know the answers to the questions that are before us. And secondly, you know, are we going to continue to burn oil, or are we gonna convert the present furnace to gas, which is a much safer?
No, it was going to still be oil.
Or even electricity?
You
You know, I mean, there are a number of questions that
Mhm.
really surface when you're dealing with $250,000.
Right. No,
And I don't,
agree.
you know, I think the question, the only question that's been asked at this point is, what do we have to do to replace this tank?
Well, I think the first question is what's our legal requirement, if any? So it sounds like there isn't a legal requirement.
We're getting.
Not that we
ahead-
shouldn't
we're
do it,
getting
don't get me wrong.
ahead of the-
I'm not saying we should, I'm just
Right.
saying it's.
No.
We don't.
It's really about assessing risk.
Right.
What's our tolerance, what's our tolerance for
Yeah,
risk?
no, I understand, I understand, that, but I just wonder, it's not as if there's a.
I'm
law
not,
that says we
it has
do
to be done, but I would like to know what direction. And,
I'm trying to get Mr. Santos on the line. I can tell you it's made out of steel. Was
So-
it definitely?
so
Did you
what-
just ask Bill?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
So question for Bill, if we were to move forward, where do these funds come from? How does that impact?
What do you think?
Well, we were playing around with that the other day.
We have money in transfer that could come out for municipal
Mhm, yeah.
buildings,
Well,
so. Might be able to patch it together, Brian, I don't know.
Well,
I think we should dig it up, patch it, put it back in. Save ourselves
Some duct tape.
200,000, that's
Duct
right. Flex seal, I'm a big proponent.
You know, when you're done,
So
I
they were
still have to
Brian-
drink water in this town.
the concern I have is, it's not only the $230,000. When they yank this tank out of the
Does that
ground,
include disposal?
Well, no, when they yank this tank out of the ground, if it is determined that the tank in fact did leak,
That's right.
we have another $250,000.
That's soil testing they're gonna
Clean
have
up.
to do.
And so.
When I removed the tank and hit the Putnam, the tank came out and then they came in and started taking core samples right now to make sure
Yeah,
that it was clean. Now luckily, we were clean, but.
Yep.
it
I
doesn't,
mean,
right?
this is a
Yeah.
big project
And I
here,
think
and there are a
we're-
lot of questions.
I think we're.
And we could get a big surplus down below $1 million very quickly.
Yeah, I think Amy's point, I don't want to speak for you, but I think Amy's point is that your comment about if they pull it out and it's leaked. Every day we wait, the chances of that happening.
I understand.
So,
It could become a bond project theoretically, good.
That's what, then that brings up the question on bonding. Have you bonded the project yet?
So the reason we have not yet was we were, and you guys will remember this, we were trying to work out the timing to do one issuance. The HVAC project, probably to nobody's surprise, was announced later than we thought. So at this point, actually just last week, I made the decision that we can't wait around any longer. And frankly, the savings on the interest on the 4.2 million, which would relate to the HVAC project, would more than offset the fact that we would have issuance costs twice on the bands. So for security and track. So the wheels are turning on getting the bands done for security and track. Matter of fact, I was working with Renee today on getting some of the legal documents that we need. So frankly, the longer it takes, lead times is significant on the HVAC equipment. So I've had some conversations with Bill Birch. Those lead times seem to be getting a little bit longer. So from a budget perspective, who knows, maybe if that slides even more, it actually helps next year's budget. I mean, obviously it'll eventually hit, but the interest charges related to most of what we're borrowing might slide into 26. I can't promise you that yet, but it's May, we're in the middle of May, so
yeah,
it's gonna be tight.
And I will say, Mr. Chair, that Mr. Santos just entered the Zoom audience. If there are specific questions, he's one of the building committee members. He evaluated the 5 bids that we had received and leveled them and has all the knowledge.
Dave had answered them now or part of them. Your first question, Dave, was, is there a directive to have to move, a requirement by a legal body to have to remove the tanks? Or are we just looking at it, proactively? That's question number 1, Brian.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's in the best interest to get that tank out of the ground
We agree.
and to do that work before we have another issue, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Jamie would like to get it out of there and get it into a concrete vessel, period. So
Brian, that we all agree with that, I think, but the question is, is it a requirement to do that, or are we doing it proactively?
it's proactively, yeah. It's more proactively, yeah.
So that's that one. The second one was, do you know what the current tank is? Is it steel? Is it fiberglass? Is it double wall, single wall? What's in the ground today?
I have that information. If you give me a second, Rob, I will be able to do that for you. One moment.
Does that change our action either way? Which one?
I don't know.
If it's
Without access to
fiber
the
versus
answer, we're gonna
steel,
wait to get the answers.
Chances are,
I mean, if it's any of those items we're still doing, right, we're still going forward.
Well, I wouldn't say that yet.
Okay.
Thank God the tank came after the playground. They would have been screwed.
She's writing the check right now, so you can pay back. Can I ask you questions while you're looking for that about this?
Just if you don't, if you ask them, but loud enough so others can.
Okay. So if you take the 229 from somewhere and it was part of next year's budget and the budget passes, does the money just go back to wherever you took it from? Or does it, because it's a separate line item, right? And
That's
the
another
budget-
action. These are transfer funds that Rob is talking about, so it's another action by the board to replace those funds or not.
Okay, so it's not automatic.
No.
The first one.
Because it wasn't
First one is
the-
the action to use it, actually spend it, and the second is to replenish it.
Okay, thank you.
Problem is we don't have anywhere to go to find the $230,000.
Right.
Other than surplus.
Right.
and That's
Right.
not a very popular place to go
Well,
today.
not entirely.
I don't know, I saw a little bit in transfer.
We
but-
have the library repair
I know.
at almost 70 and the municipal repair fund that we loaded last year at 50,
That's what I
so
meant
that
by pack-
wasn't
that's what I-
allocated.
That's what I meant by patching it together. Is
Yeah,
there a way to
right.
patch it together?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Sorry.
We're tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to keep on wasting your time. I,
Brian, we don't need to put you on the spot. You could. you
yeah,
could-
no, Jamie asked me that same question, then he and I did the research and found the answer, and that was a while ago, and my memory's failing me right now.
So Brian, Bill Witkowski had chimed in because Suzanne's here and he thought it was steel.
I don't want to say one way or the other, because
Okay.
Okay.
I just don't want to misguide you guys. I don't.
Okay.
Is it in their minutes?
And then your third question was if we
Or
consider an
different.
alternate fuel besides oil,
Yeah.
such as gas or electric. And we consider an alternate fuel potential such as gas or electric versus an above ground oil tank.
For right now, you would need to do a conversion kit on that existing furnace. So that would be an additional cost for that. I was not advised to do research on that, so I just stuck with doing the oil tank as directed.
Is there any contingency built into this, Brian, at all?
There is not.
Previous experience with contracts tell me. 230 is not enough. Especially with town
If it's
community.
leaking, it's gonna, you're right.
Oh, it's a different
Yeah.
ballpark, yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah.
So I guess my recommend, I don't see a way to get to do the money today unless we have another source of funds that we haven't talked about. My thought would be, Amy, if you and the team could look to maybe some things that are within
Here's-
the plan that we will not do, and it's about priorities.
Here's another question. So our Board of Finance our Board of Selectmen meets on Tuesday. Let's say budget passes.
Mhm.
I believe it will. We know that we put another $100,000 towards the municipal fund, which gives us 150. We technically have our money between transfers and that 100,000. So we won't
But-
come up short.
How do you do that? How's it 150?
What transfers are you considering?
80,000
Showing the library money, which otherwise. would be
Right.
Part of them, right.
So then we would have to. So we have $100,000 in the budget this year. That's supposed to go towards the municipal repair fund.
We didn't put 160 towards the tank removal?
No,
No, there's no consideration.
Nothing.
of
Okay,
tanks.
so
but
the
it's the
100
municipal
I
repair fund,
understand.
so it's
That's what
general.
we use it for, yep.
We actually put in 151, but some of it's lights, so that we wouldn't touch.
Sure.
We keep that for the lights.
Like-
So we have 50 in from last year, 100 for this year. And then we have 69 in the library repair fund, which puts us about where we need to be.
Close, close.
Very close.
Bill, can I just ask a question? This is Allison. Bill, is that the total amount in that library transfer account?
Yes,
Okay, so the gate is coming out of that I was talking with your office today.
okay.
So that's a quote that's gone up from January. It's gone up $2,000. I got them to drop it by 500 for me today, but that's a $17,000 project.
I'm sorry, Allison, does the Biblioteca PO from the past offset a piece of that 17?
It will, yes, it does. 17 is the total, and I'm not grabbing the right number because I was working with them all day to get it as low as possible because I was disappointed the quote had gone up from January by so much. So yes, there was 4,000 in an existing PO. I believe we need about, yeah, I'm guessing right now. I think the final quote is just over 17. So I will need about 13 in that transfer account now. And then there are 2 sets of doors that are priorities. The bottoms have rusted out, that will need to be replaced. And I'm guesstimating that that's going to be another $15,000 between the 2 sets of doors that need to be taken care of as soon as possible.
Thank
There
you.
are obviously other things that we should move forward, but those are the emergency priorities that I must alert you about.
Okay, thank you, Allison.
You're welcome.
You know where I'm coming from.
I
I
do.
mean, if we as a group want to put doors above an oil tank, then that's
I
fine.
don't.
I would prefer that you go back with your team, including the library and the funds you have. And the priorities that you have, we have to we have to not do something that we're planning to do. Maybe it's less paving, that's not so popular. I don't know what it is, but we should not do something else to be able to fund a really high risk project.
Okay.
And we're gonna swirl here trying to figure that out. I'd rather have you work with your teams. Maybe Allison will give up a door, but not the other thing, and maybe, you know, somehow you gotta patch it together. Because we can't just pull that surplus, so I think that's the only other way. If the board agrees with that, I'd like to have.
I'd like to get the budget passed and see where we stand.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's, right now, that's the most important thing. At 5.2, I mean, that scares me more than all these other things that we want to do.
That's right,
If we go below that and the state does decide to come in,
that's correct.
who knows what they're gonna do to our community?
Oh,
So-
and I agree, and note in the back of your mind too, so that we're not alarmist about this. It takes 3 consecutive fiscal years below 5% for it to trigger anything.
Well, we're not-
Just know that, not that we wanna get
We've
there,
hit the basement.
We've gone like.
but it's not gonna happen in the first year,
Okay.
so.
Well, we haven't been going up, that's.
I
true.
know, I
So
know, I
3
know.
consecutive of going down looks pretty damn good.
Right.
So I would list, it has to be done in all the projects, the library projects, we all
Right.
gotta get it done. I would be more comfortable talking about this and after the budget's passed and we see where we stand after that. I mean, I know it's gotta come out and it's, we just gotta, I would like, that's my opinion.
And the good news is that's next Monday.
That's right.
So
So
I'm good with that. If the group's good with that, I'm good with that. And
I'm not saying no, I'm not saying no to it, I'm just saying.
On our.
Can I
when the
just-
budget- When the
One
budget
second, Allison.
passes, Bill and the major players, all the department heads, will sit down and we'll figure out. Because I want to move forward with this project.
Okay.
And we'll figure it out,
Sure.
one way or the other.
Fair enough. Allison, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was just wondering if Brian Santos recalled the lead time on the oil tank with that vendor.
About 2 months.
Sorry to put you on.
2 months.
Was it 2 months? Okay, because the security gate that I was talking about earlier that I've got to move forward on, that's a delivery date of August for me, which shocked me a great deal. And they were citing equipment availability, materials availability. So that made me nervous. So that's a solid 2 months, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, because my concern is if this were to delay and then the startup of the heating season, what that might result in for the facility. Thanks, Brian.
Understood. And that's a problem, but I agree. If others agree, I agree with Brian. We're inside of a week. Let's get through the budget and
Mhm.
understand what we have going
Oh,
on.
I agree.
In the
I
meantime,
agree.
I did outside of the meeting, talk to Amy, about just draining the tank. If we're gonna do it before winter, get the oil out, so there's less. to
Yeah,
leak.
there's about
That could be done
2,000
by-
gallons. Yeah, I took a reading this week. There's 2,000 gallons in it currently, just over 2,000.
Yeah, have them come and get that, pump it up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one way to mitigate the risk immediately. Okay, anything else? I don't wanna push, I don't wanna push past it if others wanna have more.
No, that does.
No, let's.
Do you need a
vote.
motion to like move it?
No,
Okay, good.
just
Keep
discuss.
going.
Just discussion.
Discuss.
And, Mr. Chair, I just want to say thank you, Brian, for coming in.
Yeah, Brian, thank you on a moment's notice. We appreciate it.
No problem. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Okay, item 12, citizens' comments. Any citizens would like to make a comment? I know you did already, but for the record, please state your name and address again.
Jillian Molly, 158 Ravenel Road. Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it. It was exhausting fundraising. I didn't list everything we've done. There's lots of weekends, lots of help from everyone, so thank you.
It's amazing. It's great.
Yeah.
Thank you for all you guys do. Anyone else in the room? Citizen comment? Okay.
Oh, sorry,
Just
one
us.
more. Is Melinda, she's already off.
No.
She left right after we like changed topics.
Okay. Anyone on Zoom, citizen on Zoom would like to make a comment? Okay. No comments. Board of Finance
Yeah.
member comments.
Is that number 11 or 12 or
That's seven.
12A?
That's the fake seven.
Okay,
Sorry about that. Board of Finance member comments. Are there any comments? I have one, just if people seen the agenda, we do have a
Yes.
meeting for Monday, the 20th, 8:30.
Mhm.
I am
Set the
not,
mill rate.
I'm not here. I'm not sure.
you can zoom.
No, it's not.
It's in person.
It's not Zoom.
It's not,
No,
yeah, you
not
can't.
Zoom.
So
Just say
just,
Thunderbird.
So in other words, they need me to be there.
I guess that was more my point, was to point out the fact that I am telling you now, I cannot be there. So if someone else
Thank you.
needs to be there,
You better call me. to remind me.
otherwise you want.
Yes,
I'll be
Dave.
there.
Thank you, Dave. I'll be there too.
Steve,
I will be
you
there.
make it?
I expect to be there if I get a ride.
I'll be picking Steve up, so the twofer, Steve and
I will be there.
Yeah, his Uber driver quit.
I heard.
I do-
Mine's,
Yeah.
my rates are higher than his.
I do,
Yes.
so.
Was it
and
9
this-
o'clock? 9 o'clock, we said?
8:30.
8:30?
8:30. It'll be closer
next.
than 9.
It'll be closer.
9:30, yeah.
Nikki, you have a comment?
I do. So Kaylee, I know isn't here because she has her black belt award ceremony tonight, but do we know, is she coming? I feel bad, like if this was supposed to be her last meeting or is the next one her last meeting? She is graduating and I just didn't know if there was something like, even if we just sign a card to say thank you, like I didn't know if there was protocols on, I mean, this is her last time and she's been doing a great job. I just wanted to bring that to the board's attention.
She's the first one we've had.
Yeah. We've had them in the past, but the distant past.
They didn't
So
stick.
just something to think about. I don't mind picking up one. I just didn't know if there was,
It's a
if
nice
she's coming
thought.
back
It's a
or
nice
not,
thought.
or.
It's a nice thought. We can send it to her. We can find her address. I
Okay.
think if we all send it.
Yep.
Well, you won't be here Monday.
I'll bring Monday.
Perfect. Drop it off.
I'll make sure that it's dropped off on Monday
Okay. Any other board,
with my signature.
any other Board of Finance member comments?
As long as that's number 12. No, I'm good.
None? None? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Nikki, seconded by Steve, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.
Short meeting turned into a.
Yeah.
It's not even-
20 minutes.